we are extremely delighted to have a webinar jointly with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to streamline and support the stakeholders of the MCA 21V3. I'm extremely glad and delighted that under the dynamic leadership of the Honorable Minister for Corporate Affairs, Madam Nirmala Sitaramji has initiated several reforms to enhance the stakeholder satisfaction while dealing with the MCA. And one of the major initiatives is to make every other process online. And Madam is very, very particular that stakeholders' satisfaction is paramount and it should be seamless. And I should also thank the very respected Joint Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Sidil Shashi, for actually taking the lead in ICA to organize this webinar on a series of webinars. This is a series 2, which ICA is launching. And we have decided to address various issues. Today, we are going to discuss on the login and DSC registration related to common issues, so that these issues will be addressed. And unless and until we interact with the stakeholders, we will not be able to know what are the issues faced by them. And we have circulated and we have received several issues and clarifications, which definitely we will be addressing to the extent possible in this webinar. As all of us know, MCA 21V3 has been launched in 2021, and since then, ICA has been very actively been collaborating with the MCA to ensure the smooth and successful implementation. ICA has played a key role through extensive user acceptance testing of various company and LLP forms, providing real-time support via dedicated helplines, and systematically gathering stakeholders' feedback to identify and address technical and operational issues. This webinar is yet another attempt to get such feedbacks. Through its series of webinars, training sessions, and capacity building initiatives, ICA has empowered professionals to effectively navigate and adopt the upgraded portal. And we had already conducted 16 webinars attended by nearly 25,000 people with around 50,000 man-hours. And currently successfully addressed, we have addressed over 15,000 stakeholder issues. That is a matter of great delight and satisfaction for the ICA. While substantial progress has been achieved, some users continue to face post-implementation challenges. In response to that, only this webinar is being organized, and I'm sure this will be help to further streamline the process of filing and acceptance of the forms and all those issues. Therefore, today we will focus basically on login and DSC related issues. But we are assuring you this series will be continuing, and we will address various issues faced by you. And it is a joint effort. The respected Joint Secretary Sidil Shashi Sir is in a meeting at the MCA. After that, Sir will be joining us, and it is our commitment that this will be continued, and we will be available to your service. Thank you. This is in the larger dream of the Honorable Prime Minister also, to have a stakeholder acceptance and satisfaction in all areas of service. With that, I would like to welcome all of you. Today, we are joined with some of the officials in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and also the lead service provider of this portal is L&D Mindtree. All their senior officials have joined to understand what are the problems and how it can be resolved. Therefore, this is a golden opportunity. I welcome all participants joined across the country. Thank you for responding in large numbers to this initiative. Thank you. I would like to also invite the Vice Chairman of the Corporate Law and Corporate Governance Committee, Madam Preeti Savla. She is from Mumbai, and also the moderator of the session, uh, Kaiti Thapa from Mumbai, and also the officials of the MC and L&D Mindtree, and the secretary of the Corporate Law and Corporate Governance Committee, Seema Jangit, and other team members to this webinar. Over to the Vice Chairperson, Preetima.
Chairman Babu sir, of L&D as well as the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It's a pleasure of addressing all of you. Welcome all of you to this session. And I can witness. I have witnessed and see. I have seen the enthusiasm of our chairman, sir, for bridging the gap between you and Ministry of Corporate Affairs, so that the issues which are there in filing the forms are resolved at our end and ease of doing the business is being done. Friends, the work in which Babu sir is working is really tremendous. Visited within say 1 month, twice the Minister Affairs Office met the Joint Secretary in charge and ensuring that the gap is bridged and we are smoothly the members are actually getting the smooth facilitation of filing the forms starting from corporation to mergers, acquisitions, and lot more things. Friends, this is an initiative, as sir has rightly said, to and for that Mr. Sasi Sishinso joining webinar at from we really welcome LTI and everyone who have agreed to share the issues to share to resolution of the issues. We have received various issues in the Google form, and those will be taken up and resolution will take place. Friends, other than that, we are also working towards bringing some certificate courses, say on corporate laws and various others. Once we launch, it is finalized, we'll be launching, we will be announcing, which will be helping all the members and broadening the new horizons of our practice also. It is our endeavor to serve all of you the best, and your suggestions are accepted. This is the first initiative with in this year with Ministry of Corporate Affairs to resolve the issues. We will be also connecting you in regular basis to resolve the issues. With these words, I welcome all of you, and we are eagerly waiting to hear and resolve the issues from Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I also welcome and thank Khyati Thapa for accepting to moderate the session. So welcome all of you and looking forward to best resolution of the issues. Thank you very much, Chairman sir. Over to Khyati.
Thank you, Babu sir, and thank you, Preeti ma'am, for having me today as the moderator of today's session. A very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this important and timely webinar on the MCA 21V3 portal. Today's session is on login and DSC registration, the common issues that we are facing, and we require certain clarifications on this from the MCA team and LTI team. So it is a very relevant topic that we have, given the recent experiences of the glitches that we are finding on the upgraded MCA portal version 3. So through this session, we aim to provide practical clarity on the most common problem users are facing with login and DSC functionalities in the new version. We have with us the Deputy Director General of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Shri Sidil Sasi sir. He's a distinguished officer of the Indian Statistical Service from the 2001 batch, and he currently serves as the Deputy Director General in the MCA, Government of India. In this capacity, he has been designated as the Web Information Manager for the MCA 21 V3 portal. We also have with us senior professionals from the LTI team, and we'll begin with a guided walkthrough and presentation, followed by a live question and answer sessions. So you can also drop your questions in the chat box as we proceed further, and we'll take them up after the main discussion. With this, let's get started and have some good knowledge on this today's session. I now invite the LTI team to begin with today's presentation on the login and DSC journey in the MCA 21 V3 version. Thank you.
After this, after the presentation, we will be taking up the questions.
Yeah, after the presentation, we'll be taking up the Q&A. In the meanwhile, in the process, if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, which we'll take up after the presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, team. Thank you very much for allowing us to give a presentation to the CAA Institute for the user registration and login module. We wanted to give a highlight of what is the process is all about, what is the model is all about. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this session is for the user registration and login module, and also we'll be taking up the DSC related issues which are being faced by the various stakeholders. The agenda for this meeting is the user registration and login highlights, the types of users which are there on MCA portal, key differences between the user registration module between V2 and V3, the new registration or profile update of existing V2 users. There are many queries which is being raised around it. So we'll be showing you that how it is required to be done and what is to be done. Then we'll make you walk through the registration flow. Then there is also a page discussion on the profile update page will be shown to you. How do you associate your DSCs, and we'll also take up the FAQs which is being raised on various platforms regarding this module. We'll be taking up the common issues, and over and above whatever the common issues which are going to be raised by the stakeholders, we'll be taking up them also. Then the do's and don'ts which are required to be done when you are registering yourself or you are coming and associating your DSC. Then the common issues and resolutions will be taken up. Then there'll be a question and answer session. So I'll begin with the highlights of user registration and login module. Now it is a simplified user registration and user simplified process of user registration. There is either a PAN validation will happen, or register for registered user will be an email ID, and for the companies it will be SIN, LLPIN, FCR number will be the username for all the stakeholders. We have redefined the role, user types and roles and groups. Services accessible to the control basis user roles and groups. When I will walk through the PPT, will tell you that which all functionalities are available to which all users. So that is also been a control basis service accessibilities has been done. Easy user ID and password recovery. So if you have got a user ID and you have forgotten your password, then there is a easy two-step user ID and password location services are available, recovery services are available. You can recover your password, or you can recover your user ID through the PAN number or hint quotient validation. Then we have also streamlined the authorization and suspension process. So the companies have got right to authorize manager, secretary, officer in default, authorized representative to access FO services for and on behalf of company and LLP. Then there is an email ID and mobile OTP validation. So one time, whenever you are providing your mobile number, or you're providing your email ID, that'll be validated through the OTP validations. Then there is an additional security checks whenever there's going to be change in the system, or you are coming into and logging into system after a long time, that can be validated. That'll be validated through OTP validation. Now I'll make you walk through the various type of users, what are the user groups, and what is the descriptions, and what all the functionalities is accessible to them. So there are first and foremost are the registered users. Registered users are common user. It comprises of individual which can access the basic services of MCA portal, such as ebook, e-consultation, master data services, VPD services, complaints filing, and some forms can be filed like run, spice, Philip, etc. So all these forms can be filed by the registered user. However, for affixing your DSC, you have to become a registered user, business user. Then there are various type of business users who are there, like company or LLP user, where the master role for any company LLP, this account will have access to all MCAFO services in relation to the respective company or LLP. The user can also authorize manager, secretary, and officer in default, authorize representative to act on its behalf. In addition to all the basic services available to the registered user, will also be available for this user. Here, the user login is through your SIN. I will make you walk through that how whenever the changes happen, how it is going to get updated in the system. That I'll show you later on. But this is what the company and LLP user, what is the role and what are the accessibilities which are available, that is being depicted out here. Then there is one more role, which is a director and designated partner. Any individual who is appointed as a director in a company or designated partner in an LP, these users would have to have the following functionalities. They can access to all the basic services available to the registered user. They can access all the MCA, FO, front office services in relation to the particular company or LLP in which they are currently appointed. They have a right to authorize manager, secretary, officer in default, authorized representative to access MCA of FO services, especially in the case of e-filings and e-adjudication services for and on behalf of the company or LLP. Now, there is a one more major role which is there is a professional user. Professional user is a category of the professionals which are company secretaries, chartered accountants, or cost accountants in practice. They'll be able to access all the MCFO services for any company or LLP. Professional users will not be required to obtain any authorization for all the basic services available to the registered users and will be available to their user roles. So professional users are the users who can get themselves registered through their membership number in the MCA system, and while providing this thing they'll be having access to all the forms and all the functionalities which are available for any company or LLP users. Manager, secretary, authorized representative are the users which will have access to the MCFO services, including e-filing services and e-consultation services, in relation to that particular company where they've been appointed as a manager, secretary, or authorized representative. In addition to all the services mentioned above, they are also being able to access the services which are available to the registered user. Now, there is an officer in default. As we are aware that there is a section 260 of the Companies Act which defines that who's his officer in default. The officer in default will have a similar right to what is there for manager, secretary, and authorized representative once authorized in this regard. In addition, so in this particular, the difference between manager, secretary, and authorized representative and officer in default is that manager, secretary, and authorized representative has to take the confirmation from the company user or the directors for becoming manager, secretary, or authorized representative. However, for officer in default, if GNL3 is filed for that person into the company, then the system will not ask for any validation. They can create their user login for as an officer in default. Then there is a role called nodal and deputy nodal officer, which is for the IPF users. So, as we are aware, as per the provisions of Act, any director or chief financial officer or company secretary of the company who are appointed for the purposes of verification of the claim and coordinate with the Investor Education and Provident Fund Authority, that is IPFA, then in that case, if the IPF2 is filed for that particular person as a nodal or deputy nodal officer, then he can have a user role in the system. One company can have only one nodal officer and 5 deputy nodal officer, and that too appointed through IPF2. Then there is one more role, which is a professional staff member. Professional staff members refers to any person who is or with or on behalf of a professional of ICASI, ICAI, or ICWI as a staff. He is being appointed as a staff by the professional. There can be maximum five staff roles which can be created by any professional. Such members include trainees of the professional firms and non-professional members of the professional firms, etc. In that case, the only validation which is required to happen is that the whatever the validation has to OTP has to be verified by the professional under which they are being appointed as a professional staff member. Now, what is the key difference between user registration module between V2 and V3? Forms in V2 could be filed by any user category, and associate DSC functionality was available without any login to the system. There was no concept of OTP functionality at the time of registration or post login authentication. There was a DSC based login for the business users. The major differences between V2 and V3 is that majority of the forms can only be filed by or transacted only by the business users. DSC association is a post login functionality where the business users can only associate their DSCs. One time email and or mobile OTP validation happens during the registration time period, registration. When a business user log into the MCA system, an OTP will be sent to the mobile or email address to ensure the authenticity of the user. Password based login for both registered user and business user. New registration or profile update of existing V2U. So many of the queries which are coming to us is that we have seen that the stakeholders are having a V2 credentials, and that was at the beginning when we have launched this module. So a new user can, if who was never present in V2, wants to register, he can register himself as a registered user and a business user as per their requirement. Business users are like director user category, professional user category, company or LLP user, or any other role which we have discussed. So for them, this is going to be a new registration in V3. Now for V2 users who are already registered as a V2 user, then the existing registered user in V2 wants to stay as such in V3. So what they have to do is existing registered users in V2 wants to upgrade to business user in V3 under any of the director user category, professional user, company user, or any other role. Then he has to update the profile option available in V3. So the ask is that you do not register yourself independently with any other email IDs, because what will happen in case you want to look into your any of the filings done in V2, that will not be accessible if you do a independent login. You create independent login registration in V3. So the business user in V2 wanting to continue as a business user in V3, they have to get themselves upgraded by upgrading their profile from V2 to V3. Now I will make you walk through the registration form for the registered user. So this is the screen which we get when we come to the MCA portal, and when you are already having a V2 credentials, then you log in for V3 filings, V2 filings. You go through that page. You choose a category of registered user. You choose your role also. Then you provide your income tax number, and then you proceed to the next. In the personal details, you are required to provide your name, your middle name, last name, your date of birth, with your gender also, and your profession also. Then after that, you have to provide your address. Then you have to provide your telephone number, your mobile number, and your email ID also. You are required to, so the do's and don'ts which is required. So ensure to select country first field first, and thereafter select pin code. If the country is selected as India, the state related state field will get auto populated with the relevant pin code, and city and area are required to be selected from the auto populated cities. The the drop downs in the area will be provided, and you have to choose. Ensure to provide the correct email id for the further communication to be sent from MCA. You're required to provide the unique email ID for the registration purpose, and that is what is the most important part of V3 login module is that one user can have only one PAN and one email ID. That is a basic requirement of MCA V3 portal. Then you have to provide the password and you have to confirm it. Then you have to provide the OTP which is sent on your mobile or your email ID Two separate OTPs will be verified for mobile number and email ID. And the screen works the way I am showing you onto the screen, right? And the passwords, whatever the passwords is required to be provided, what should be the credibility for, what is the criteria for the creating a password, all these are educated enough, are there's a information provided into the web portal only, so that the stakeholders do not commit a mistake around that. So once your OTP has been successfully verified, you get a message that you have been successfully registered, and a confirmation email is also sent on your profile. Email ID will be your login ID. Once the user is registered, then his email ID and mobile number becomes his personal details, and he can log in or create or look into the passwords or find the passwords through those functionalities, through those features. Then making you walk through the registration flow for director or designated partners. So what you have to choose is, you have to choose the category as business user. Then the user role which you have to choose is director, designated partner. Then you have to provide the income tax. If you provide your DIN or DPIN number, that is a mandatory field. It is a mandatory field. Then whatever data which is available on the MCA database, it'll be pre-filled on its own. So personal detail will get pre-filled, all the details, your date. So whatever information you have provided while you have taken the DIN number or updated it from time to time, that will become the that will become your details for the user registration module. Then after that, whatever the email ID or the mobile number which is present in your MCA database, that will get through, on that only you will be getting your OTPs. You have to validate those OTPs, and the OTP will be sent to your mobile and email ID provided by the user in contact details. Two separate OTPs will be required to be given for mobile and email ID. Both have to be provided by the user. The email ID provided by the user in contact details become the username for login, and same will be communicated to user through email and SMS also. Now I am taking up the role which is an important one, which is the role of professional. You have to select as a business user under the category professional as a your user role, where the PAN is mandatory for the professional user. Please select the professional membership institute from the drop down and provide the professional membership number. Provides first name, middle name, and the last name in the capital letter. Ensure to provide the name and date of birth as per the PAN database. So supposedly, if you are not providing any of the information which is not there in PAN database, you will not be able to create a business profile for yourself. So that is very much foremost important, that whatever data you have provided while taking your PAN, while filing for the PAN, whatever information you have provided, that you are required to provide here, it will not fail, because the PAN number which you are providing is getting validated through NSDL. So there is an authentication which happens, and on the basis of that, the your user login will be created. So similarly for business user, the professional staff member, you have to enter your PAN number. You have to provide the details of the membership time against which you are becoming the user, professional staff member. You have to provide the professional membership institute details, the professional membership number, then the professional name also, and his professional email ID and mobile number also. There'll be two-step authentication. The first step of verification will be email ID and mobile number of professional staff member through OTP, and second step of authentication will be that link, whatever number of institute member, the the professional you have provided, will be through which you are getting yourself registered as a professional staff member. You are getting associated. He will also validate the OTPs which has come onto his registered mobile number and email ID, and once it gets provided, then you will get a successful message that your login has got created. Now, if I'm saying the company or LLP number, then income tax PAN number is mandatory for company or LLP users. You have to enter your SIN or LLP number. The name will get auto-populated basis the SIN or LLP number entered by the user. Details should match with the MCA database, and once it happens, then the your login gets created for the company or LLP user. So once you are providing the mobile number, here the three separate OTPs goes. Phone number and email ID of the director is mandatory. So it is not only the email number or the mobile ID which I have provided for the company, there the authentication happens. It is the director's email ID, mobile number is also getting you are required to provide the details of the director through whom you'll be getting a validation. And once he provides the OTP on the email, either on email or mobile number, then the user login creates for company or LLP user. Now, if you want to become a nodal officer for IPF, then you are required to provide the income tax PAN number, and then you will be provided. If you do not have a DIN details, then through DIN also you can create your login or your income tax PAN number, whichever is present in the system. You have to provide that, and that PAN details is mandatory. Ensure all the details entered here should match with the approved IPF2 associated with the company. So once it's get validated, then in that case you'll be able to create a user login, business user login for the nodal officer. Contact details are also required to provide it, and once it's get validated, then you get a message that your login has got created for as a business user, and that in the capacity of nodal officer. Option for profile update. So now we talk about, as we are saying, that we can profile update can happen on various screens. So if you are able to you have to update your profile, then on the right side of your screen has been highlighted on the red box. You have to choose the profile update. Option for profile update is visible to the top right of the page in login drop down. Sign in users can access profile update page to view their details and edit a specific few. So what all can be is added. So the registered user can edit their date of the whatever is edited available on the screen. That is, they can change their name, they can change their mobile number. User can verify all details and edit mobile number and address to keep it updated. Password change functionality is available on profile page update. User has an option to merge V2 ID and check validity of the DSC here. In the right hand screen, if you can see, if you want to merge your V2 ID, then there's a box available on my right hand side, low down on the sheet, the PPT, and there's also a show DSC functionality is also available. Once you click onto those details, you'll be able to proceed ahead and you can do the needful. If a business users want to update his details, then he'll be able to, users can verify all details and edit mobile number and addresses to keep it updated. Add role can also be used to add a new role to the user profile. Once system validates all the relevant details, the current user category gets updated with the new user role. Password change functionality is available on the profile update page. User has also an option to merge V2 ID and verify DSCL. For director's role, if there is an update in the email ID in future, user ID will remain the ID with the user with which user has registered. However, for notification purposes and OTPs, it will be sent on the updated email ID. That means, to put it precisely, that your user ID doesn't change at all. However, for notification purposes, if you have updated your user email ID, that'll become a additional feature, and whatever notifications or OTPs are required to be sent, they'll be sent on your new email ID which you have provided through DIR3 KYC form. Now user have a, so if you have forgotten your password, so supposedly if you have forgotten your password, your email ID will be shown to you, then your date of birth will be given to you. OTP verification happen. User should have a valid email ID to reset password, date of birth, and date of incorporation is validated. Email or mobile OTP gets verified. Upon successful validation, user can set a new password following the standard instructions. A success pop-up message will be displayed as password change confirmation. Notification will also be received on the registered email address of the stakeholder. Similarly, if you've forgotten your user ID, so to retrieve your user ID, user should have a valid email ID, mobile number associated with the user ID. User can select the ID to be retrieved from the list of user IDs associated with the entered email ID or PAN. So whenever you have forgotten your email ID, then whatever associations which are there in MCA system will be shown to you as a drop down. User can select user role from the selected user ID, and then user is validated OTP received on the email ID or mobile number. He will be validating his date of birth or date of incorporation in case of the company. Upon successful validation, user ID is sent to the registered email ID and mobile number of the stakeholder. Success pop-up is also displayed on the screen. Now, I will come to the very important aspect, which is the associate DSCs and what all the mistakes we are doing while we are associating our DSCs. I'll make you walk through that. So, whenever you have to associate your DSC, then you log in, and then you, after successful login, you have to go for F4 services. Then in that case, if you can see my screen, you'll see a message associate DSC. You go to that you go and tap onto that field, and because that is an important aspect, as I told you before, and only in V3 the associate DSC is a post login services. So first you have to create a login for yourself, get yourself login properly. Then after that you go into FO services, and then you click on to associate DSC. Therein you'll be getting a screen with which asks for the token, certificate details, and also the password. Once you provide all these details, please ensure that you have, so the important information which are displayed when you associate DSC is that you have to download and install latest DSC WebSocket installer. So there is also a link available where you can download the socket installer. Then you have to ensure that the Embridge client running and DSC plugged in your DSC before proceeding. Then you have to download and install the latest Embridge client click. Then that link is also available. You can do that, and then you proceed ahead with the providing the token number, certificate details, and also the password. After you do and you click onto the register, if you it gets your then your DSC will get registered successfully qua your DIN, PAN number, or membership number, whatever you have provided while you have taken the DSC from the DSC service provider. Now, I'll before taking up any FAQs, I just wanted to make you understand the common FAQs which are being raised by the stakeholders, and also do's and don'ts and common issues and their resolutions. So if the basic questions which come to us is, if I am an existing user in V2, do I need to re-register once again? No. If you are existing user in V2, then you need not register once again. In fact, the system will identify the mail ID that you give as a duplicate ID and not permit as a registration once again. If the user attempts to register with new email ID which is not associated with the old V2 system, then the user will be registered as completely new user, and in this case, the application history of the user will not be visible to the user. Please note that with one email and one PAN only, one user can be registered on the new system. So the first and foremost rule is one email and one PAN number. So if you're already existing V2 user, if you try to register yourself in V3, then in that case, you will not be able to do that because system will throw an error. So better you have to upgrade yourself the way I've told you before and in my previous slides. What information needs to be provided for the registration? First and foremost, the email ID, mobile number, address are required for both registered and business user. PAN is mandatory for the registered user and business users except for director, designated partner, and professional staff member. Company LLPIN users, SIN, LLPIN, FCR, FLLPIN, and FCR number are the important functionalities or numbers which are required for getting yourself registered. Director and designated partners, if they are getting themselves registered, they have to provide DIN or DPIN number. Manager, secretary, authorized representative have to provide the general inputs only. Similarly, for officer in default, general inputs are required, and similar is for the nodal officer also. Professional staff professional membership number, and professional institute are the two mandatory fields which are required to be filled in by professional. Professional staff member has to provide the details of the professional under which they have been appointed as a professional staff member, which will be validated through professional membership number. Can a registered user upgrade to a business user? Yes, a business user can upgrade to a business user. One must not create a new business user. The following needs to be done to upgrade. Even registered users in V2 can upgrade to the business user in V3. They have to sign in. They have there's a right corner, there's a display of hello and with the name. Click onto that icon and then you select profile update page. Click on edit user category, select user category as business user, click on to add role which are available in the drop down. So that's how you can become a business user even if you are a registered user in V2. I am a CA in professional role. Can I also have a director role with the same user ID? Yes. User can have multiple roles under the same user ID. However, user can use only one role at any point of time by changing one's role to add another role by add role functionality. While upgrading the role, it is mandatory to provide all the required mandatory info fields which are not available in the existing role. So, supposedly, when I am a professional member, I have provided my membership number, but I want to add a role of a director. Then, in that case, whatever is there is going to get pre-filled through the system. Since DIN number is not being provided, then DIN number is required to be provided for you to add the director role number. So that is why I've made the statement that while upgrading the role, it is mandatory to provide all the required mandatory fields which are not available in the existing role. My details have changed. How do I update my profile? Details can be updated by visiting the profile update section, which can be accessed by clicking on the profile update link present under Hello Username on the top right corner of MCA portal. Not all details in the profile page can be changed. Only certain details can be changed. For example, the followings cannot be modified. Username for any other company than company user. User ID cannot be changed. User ID for company user, that is SIN, will get changed automatically whenever SIN change happens in the system. So supposedly you have changed your registered office from Delhi to Mumbai. In that case, if your SIN number has got changed from DL to MH, then in that case, whenever you are login, the system will automatically update your SIN number to the latest SIN number which has been provided to the system. Similarly, for email ID or mobile number of a director or designated partners, as the updates happen through DIR 3 KYC e-form, then you can do that through DIR 3 KYC e-form only. Address cannot be changed by company or LLP user, director or designated partner, since it can be updated through INC 22, Form 15 LLP, DIR 3 KYC e-form or DIR 6 forms. That is required for changing any details for the directors or designated partners. I am registered with director role. Change my email ID through DIR 3 KYC. Will my user ID gets changed automatically? For directors or designated partner role, if there is an update in the email ID through DIR 3 KYC e-form, user ID would remain the ID with which user has registered. However, all notification and OTPs will be sent on the updated email IDs as per DIN master. Similarly, for nodal officer also, if you are changing your email ID or mobile number through a IPF2 form, then it will get automatically added with your user ID, but your user ID will remain the same. Your notification ID will remain will get updated in the system, and all notifications or the this OTPs will be received on the notification notification emails. Notifications will be received on the new email ID which you have provided in the respective forms. What is merge V2 ID? V3 profile gets updated, has a functionality of merging V2 ID. User, so why we have provided that is, so what users have done that they already had a V2 ID. They're now then upgrading that from V2 to V3. What they have done is they have created another ID with another email ID in V3. So they have got two different IDs. But what is the false side of it, or the issue with regard to that is that whatever actions or workings you have done in V2 will not be visible in your in your application dashboard. So there is a merge user ID functionality which allows merging of V2 users to V3 ID if V2 ID and passwords are available with it. So the most important aspect is that you should know that what is your user ID and what is your password which is available with you. Do I need to associate my DSC every time I upgrade my profile? No, DSCs are not required to be associated again once the profile update is done by the user. In addition to the existing record, the system will automatically associate the new record with the DSC. However, while you are affixing the DSC, ensure to log in with the relevant role as DSC association checks are done based on the role selected in the form. So supposedly you want to sign as a professional and a director, then in that case you have to log in into two different ways for getting yourself for affixing your DSCs. You have to first log in as a director and then you have to log in as a professional. What if a user ID has registered wrong DSC with his user ID? What if user has registered wrong DSC with his user ID? Users are required to associate the DSC of correct person with correct user ID. If you have registered a wrong DSC, please associate again with the right DSC and you will receive a pop-up message with yes and no option. Click on yes to proceed further and your DSC will be successfully registered. Please note that only one DSC can be associated with one user ID. Thus, users are required to make sure to associate correct DSC with the respective user IDs. You cannot associate multiple DSCs with one user ID. Now I will make you walk through whatever we have discussed. We have summarized into do's and don'ts. Mandatory, you have to update your mobile number on V3 portal profile update page to receive OTPs and all relevant notifications timely you receive it. For that, you have to mandatory update your mobile number. Review profile update page details and save the details after login in while exiting V2 ID and password existing in with existing V2 ID and password. So you have to review your profile, update page details, and save the details. That is the most important functionality. What happens is that most of the times we have seen that the stakeholders had updated the page but have not waited to save the details. So before logging in, you have to save the details after login. Registered with the name, date of birth, address details as provided in the PAN database or DIN master. Log into V2 system with existing V2 user credentials to access SRNs of the form that are still in V2. Add manager, secretary, or authorized representative role with SIN details to file form for specific company. For degradation or deactivation of V2 user IDs, share self-attested declaration and user authentication details. Make sure to enter PAN for professional staff member, though the system doesn't ask mandatory for that, but it is always suggested for you to get a excess of things, or if you forget something, then in that case you can enter your PAN details. You are required, though the system doesn't mandate it, but logically you should provide your PAN details. Refer to help and FAQ section for commonly faced issues and their resolutions. For any other issue, please raise a ticket with help desk with all relevant data and screenshot for quicker resolution. Don'ts. Do not merge same V2 ID which has already been upgraded to V3 system. So you have already upgraded yourself from V2 to V3. Then you are asking for merging. It should not be a functionality. It should not happen because you have already upgraded. So whatever is available in V2 will be available to you on your application dashboard. Do not skip reviewing and updating all user details on V3 profile update page. Do not file any other forms before saving profile details and user role on V3 profile update page. Do not enter mobile number without country code. Do not attempt to create multiple users with same PAN, email IDs or phone number because system will not allow it and will be frustrating for you. Do not access website on multiple browsers tabs via unsecured networks for seamless registration. Do not share your OTP or password with any unauthorized user. I would request my team member Chandraji to take up the issues which have been elaborated here and been shared by ICI. Chandraji?
Yes, Seema, I'm on. I think the questions are jumbled up from the previous slide, Seema.
Okay. So you want to share your screen?
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to stop sharing, Seema, before I can start sharing my screen.
I have stopped sharing,
Thank you.
Chandraji.
Thank you. Is my screen visible, Seema?
Yes, Chandraji, it is visible.
Okay.
Please.
All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, a couple of issues which are reported through users, and there are some questions which we received from ICAI. So, we have included all of that into the following slides. So primarily these are the high frequency questions that we receive over tickets, and we have tried to summarize the solutions related to them. One is where the users are unable to update the profile due to personal details mismatch. What happens in this case that the details of the person who is trying to update his profile, the order in which the name appears, first, middle, and last names, should be exactly the same. There should not be any spaces, and because of that, we receive they receive the error that the personal details are mismatched. Therefore, the solution in this case is that the applicant should enter the details of the DIN and PAN in the exact format in which it is correctly up. Where the user is trying to update the profile and the error occurs, an account already exists with the entered email, PAN, DIN, membership number, etc. What happens is that the portal earlier allowed on V2 to create multiple accounts, and in that process, many users have created several V2 accounts. Maybe one with email ID, one with PAN, one with DIN, etc. Now in V3, we are restricting one user with one set of information. So there will be only one account. And if the stakeholder tries to create a user ID for which the information is duplicate in already existing in database, they'll get an error that an account already exists with the same DIN, same PAN, etc. The solution in this case is that we have to degrade the earlier account with which the information is existing, PAN, DIN, etc. And after degrading, you'll be able to update your profile. While you create your ticket, please ensure that you provide a self-declaration that you are the owner of that account, and there is a bona fide attempt to create that account, and KYC documents like Aadhaar or PAN, etc., can be submitted so that we can verify the genuinity of the request and then degrade the account. The third is where the users are unable to update profiles to manager, secretary, authorized representative, etc., while the current role is professional. In this case, degradation of account is required to update profile, and you have to create a ticket with self-declaration and KYC for the purpose of degradation. Once the ID is converted from business user to registered user, you can update the profile with approval from company's user ID. So in this case, for manager, secretary, authorized representative, the company's user ID's approval is required. So once the account is degraded, you can create an account, and the associated SIN or LLPIN can approve the creation of that account, and you'll be successfully be able to create a profile. When you are unable to update profile of any role, if the current role is professional staff member, add role is currently working well. However, if the stakeholder is facing any issue, you can connect to us through tickets and we'll be able to help you out. Some of the other common issues. One is where users are unable to merge the V2 user ID with the V3 user ID due to incorrect password, etc. In this case, it is recommended that you can reset the password which is being used in V2 portal and use the latest password to avail merge user ID functionality on V3. V2 user ID is not being generated after the creation of V3 user ID. So there is a process where once a new registration is done on V3, it takes 24 hours to create a V2 ID, which is typically on the basis of PAN or mobile number, which has been used by the stakeholder. So in the next 24 hours, you will receive a communication from MCA with credentials of V2, and you can use those credentials to log into V2 as well. If you are unable to create a user ID with error, an account already exists with the entered email, PAN, DIN, etc. I referred earlier, there is a possibility that there could be multiple V2 accounts where the relevant information has already been used and the user will not be able to proceed further because of that error. The solution is to get the account, the referred account, which is actually creating the problem, can be degraded, and then you can proceed further to create a V3 user account. If the password is expired for any user ID, the user is unable to reset the password due to error, something went wrong. In this case, the probability in this situation is that the V3 account which has been created, either of email ID or mobile number is not present, and it will not allow the stakeholder to proceed further. So in this case, if you can create a ticket with self-declaration and KYC documents, we will reset the password and the communication will be sent to you over the ticket and to reset the password again, and you'll be able to use the user account. There are certain DSC association related issues where users are trying to associate DSC with the role as registered user. Please be mindful that a registered user cannot associate DSC. First, you have to upgrade the profile to a business user, and then the DSC can be associated. The business user roles are director, designated partner, professional manager, secretary, authorized representative, and nodal officer. When the users are unable to associate DSC because of drop-down not available, it is recommended that the user must download the latest software of mBridge, mSigner, Java, etc. from the links provided on MCA portal and then try to associate DSC. If the software is not updated, you will face issues and the drop-down may not be available. So it is recommended to use the latest software of these applications. Many users face the error DSC is not registered. In this case, if a user is to ensure that user ID created in V3 and DSC is associated, appropriate role should be used while affixing DSC. So what happens in this case, this error can be experienced by the users at many places, including while the form is being uploaded. So the rules are: one, the DSC should be the user must be a business user, and the DSCs must be associated with their profiles. The second rule is that while signing the form, the correct role must be chosen by the signatory. Third, and which is a prudent one, that the DSC serial number and its validity should be correct. Fourth, when you are associating DSC in the form, if you are using Adobe Pro, there is an option to sign with DSC. Please do not use that option. Instead, the DSC box which appears on the form, you have to click inside that and then associate the DSC in the form. To check whether the DSC has been has been affixed correctly, if the DSC is affixed correctly, the DSC information will appear in monochrome format, that is only black with a white background. If the DSC is not associated correctly, you will observe a light blue shadow behind the DSC which has been associated. And the final step is to check whether the DSC has been successfully associated in the form. If you click on the signature panel on the top right corner of the form, you will see green ticks against the DSC which are correctly associated, and which are not correctly associated, you will not see that green tick. There would always be a red or an amber. So once you are able to verify that the DSC is correctly affixed, you will not get an error that DSC is not registered. We received certain questions related to login and DSC, although many of these questions are already answered in the previous slides. However, I will go through them one by one. PAN validation issue while login. We discussed that the PAN can be existing with any other account which has been used earlier. Invalid credentials post migration, where user faces issues while logging in with credentials that worked in V2, often requiring password reset or re-registration. What happens in this case that in V3 there is a process of password expiry. So if the password has been expired, this requires to be reset so that you can log into the V3 account. OTP not received or delayed especially for foreign countries. I would like to update everyone that the foreign countries have implemented several regulatory framework for delivery of OTPs in the same format as we have done within India. And there are delivery related issues from the service providers in those countries. So while we deliver the OTP successful till the input of those service provider, they are not further servicing the OTPs to the actual recipient. So we are in collaboration with those service providers, and we are trying to get the issue sorted out, which will be done very quickly. Session timeout errors, where the system abruptly logs out. So we are investigating this issue, although these are isolated instances. However, we are investigating, and we should be able to enhance the systems. Login page freezes or becomes unresponsive while accessing the portal. This may be caused. This was reported during recent times due to latency in internet connectivity. This issue can be investigated further if some real-time cases can be reported to us, and we will definitely would like to drill down and understand what has caused, if it is other than internet connectivity related problems. Multiple failed logins, where users are logged out after a few attempts due to restricted login security in V3. So this is as per design of V3 system due to ensure security. Forgot password option can be used to reset the passwords. Now there are some 1 dozen questions related to DSC, although many of these questions are addressed in the previous slides. Let's go through them one by one. Mandatory re-registration of DSC required. So DSC registration requirement on V2 and V3 are separate. This is as per design. Once only V3 is live, this inconvenience will be done away with. Currently, the DSC, yes, has to be registered separately on V2 and V3. Signer utility compatibility problems. V3 requires web signer, Mbridge, and other utilities no longer work. Yes, only web signer and Mbridge are permitted softwares currently for DSC related applications. So let's be mindful to use only these two. Browser compatibility issues. V3 signer tool often does not function on certain browsers like Chrome or Edge. In this case, we have observed that the latest version of the browsers are not being used. If the same are used, you won't see any problems associated with this. Token driver conflicts. Common DSC tokens like ePass, Proxkey require driver updates to function with V3 environment. Yes, the applications work smoothly only with latest versions of the tokens. So please ensure that latest version of the softwares are being used. Signature validation errors. Users encounter errors like signature validation failed even when using a valid and registered DSC. So the user presumes that they are using valid and registered DSCs. However, we have seen instances, and in fact, I would like to update you all. In the last 2 days, we have done over 50 user sessions related to DSC, and in all of them, we observed that the process that I described while discussing the previous slide, the process was not followed correctly. So the golden rules that I said: one, users should verify that correct role with valid DSC is being used. Second, please validate the correct DSC serial number, which is affixed inside the DSC box and not outside on the form, and the same can be are verified using the signature panel. If these three steps are followed, I can assure all of you that you will not face the error that DSC is not registered unless it is a genuine case. Frequent prompts to install signer utility. So if the latest software of the installer signer utilities are not installed, you will constantly be reminded to upgrade that. So therefore, once the latest version of software are installed on your workstations, you will not receive these prompts. DSC association issue. As the system checks the DSC association based on role selected in form, user is forced to check and change role in profile page or while logging in the portal, which is cumbersome. Yes, it is cumbersome. However, it is also very important to ensure that the integrity of the signatory on the form is maintained, and therefore the DSC is verified on the basis of the role in which it is actually being used in the form. So this is as per enhanced design of the V3 system. So this is to ensure security and authenticity of the signatories in the form. Users not able to register DSC due to following errors. On clicking associate DSC button, radio button screen freezes and associate DSC button gets disabled. Required software should be installed using the links provided on the MCA portal because it redirects you to the latest version of the software. Once they are installed, you will not face these errors. DSC already registered error. We discussed that in detail. So DSC validation errors can appear when there is an account already existing with the reference DSC. A specific case can be investigated if any contrary condition exists. Personal detail mismatch despite correct PAN-DIN. We discussed this. DSC verification error across many forms. We discussed this one as well. So this is actually the most critical ones because the number and frequency of this error that we receive on tickets is high. And three simple steps: validating that the correct DSC serial number with correct role is being used on the form. Second, ensure that the DSC is affixed inside the DSC box. And the third, a last verification is done by clicking on the signature panel that the DSCs are correctly associated in the form. So this would solve the issues. So with this, I come to the end of the slide. We do not have any further questions on this. So if there are any more questions, we are good to proceed forward.
Thank you, Chandraji, for your insightful discussion on the login and DSC issues. We also have certain live questions. So I'll just take through them one by one.
Sure.
So Mr. Balaji Vaidyanathan has a question. What are the additional privileges available to director or designated partner compared to company and LLP user?
Sorry, ma'am, can you please repeat that?
Chandraji, I'll take it up.
Okay.
Ma'am, the additional functionalities which are available to our director is that company user and login user, company or LLP login user can only access the forms which are applicable to them qua that company. But if a director is associated with the multiple companies, then he'll be now, his profile will be able to do all the filings done by him or through him on his profile. So that is an additional functionality which is available for the director user group or designated partner user group.
Yeah, thank you, Seemaji. The next question is from Mr. Avinash Ravani. What is the process of deactivating the user ID?
Chandraji.
So we do not actually deactivate, we degrade so that the account exists in our system, is not deleted completely, and the record is available. The process is very simple. The user has to create a ticket, provide a self declaration, provide his KYC, either Aadhaar card, a copy of Aadhaar card or PAN, and then on the basis of that, we can take up the request and degrade the account.
Thank you. Mr. Abhinav has suggested that the DSC use compatibility for traces under the income tax and MCA can be, make it compatible.
Ma'am, this is a suggestion. We can take it up, but that is to be taken up by the MCA. We will surely, the institute can surely bring it to the notice of MCA and they can take it up if they want to do that.
However, I think these are completely two different ecosystems. Traces is primarily for deductors and the taxpayers who are availing services of income tax department, while the focus of compliance through MCA portal is completely different. Maybe probably some 5 years down the line, we may see this integration, and this can become possible for the users. Because from director standpoint, there is no concept of a company secretary signing form or designated partners, directors, etc. Right? So the roles are completely different in these two ecosystems.
Right, got it. Ms. Dipali Vardak has said the DSC uploaded in V3 portal needs to be updated frequently even before the expiry of the DSC. What could be the reason for that?
We haven't seen any common trend in this regard. But I recall about 3 years back, we were seeing an individual issue where every time the user was associating DSC, it was getting deassociated automatically. I'd be very happy to help, ma'am, if the case can be forwarded to us. We can see, first we'll verify this through the logs, what is happening, and we'll be able to assist the stakeholder.
We have one question. While registering, DSC receives mobile OTP, but OTP is not received on email ID.
But I think for associating DSC, this will not be required.
Maybe
The
for
OTP is not.
logging in to OTPs are received. So one may receive OTP on the mobile, but on the email ID, it's not getting received. Or maybe
And for login, there
email
is
ID
on
it
the
is received.
for login purposes, the OTP which is sent on email and mobile are the same.
Okay. We have one peculiar question. Ms. Harini Neelakanthan has raised it. The managing partner of our firm is unable to log in the MCA V3 portal. Multiple complaints and password reset requests have already been raised. However, the password cannot be reset as the registered email ID is unknown. Kindly advise the steps to be followed to either recover access or proceed with a fresh registration.
So, ma'am, if the question is that the user wants to know the email ID, I mean, it is a question related to disclosing confidentiality of somebody. So, I may also create a ticket and ask that what is the email ID for a certain user. So, probably if the user can come through ICAI following proper channel, ICAI to MCA, and then we can entertain that request.
So this what Chandraji wanted to say, that this is an individual case which is coming across to us.
Yes,
So if the
this is
request will
definitely
come to
an.
us,
This is
so we
definitely.
would want more details, so that can be shared with us, and we'll surely look into this ticket. The ticket number can also be shared with us, ma'am. That'll suffice the purpose. We'll have a look. We'll investigate.
Ms. Aditi Avinash Sapre has asked which search engines are compatible for V3 portal. For V2, only Mozilla Firefox works.
I do not think this is the case. I think all the browsers, all the search engines work perfectly. I mean, if there can be evidences to this effect that the search engine is not working, I mean, we'd be glad to work with this to collaborate with the stakeholder.
Mr. Prashant Khandelwal has asked how to change email ID in V3 portal so that we can easily log into V2 portal.
So for the purpose of logging into V2, there is no change in email ID required. So as I suggested, if there is a fresh user on V3 portal, a subsequent V2 credential will follow in 24 hours, and that can be used to log into V2.
While filing INC 20A and V3 login, the e-form is not allowing me to save the unattached documents due time of filing the form is reaching.
This is a very peculiar, isolated case. I mean, if a
Ma'am,
ticket
please
can be shared,
please share the ticket details with us. We'll have a look into it and we'll come back to you. And whosoever is raising the tickets, ma'am, the resolutions are coming to them. You can, if it has been not been addressed, you can share it with us again, and then we'll have a look into it.
We have a question from Mr. Praga Disan. I am unable to use CA professional login in V2 for filings even after creating ID in V3 and V2. Some error is happening in background which I am unable to trace out. DSC is registered, name is same in PAN, ICI and DSC.
so I am unable to understand the problem here, ma'am. So if a ticket can be shared, because the process is pretty simple. Uh, so the user is stating is created user ID on V3 and V2. I'm not sure whether they are linked. And then if credentials for V2 are already created, what is the issue in filing the form? Uh, I think if you can share the ticket number, we will be glad to help the stakeholder. There seems to be some awareness issue.
Mr. Anil Kumar Vakalgada has asked, we are getting the notification as account is expired while logging into V2. The reason why we are using V2 filing that to download the public documents by making the payment, those documents are not available in V3 login of mine.
So for ma'am, please understand that both V2 and V3 ecosystems are currently separate. So the forms which are applicable to V2, the documents which are related to V2 will appear under V2 VPD. For V3, it will appear under V3 VPD. So the stakeholder has to consciously understand the to request for the forms. If it is V2 related, they have to create this VPD request in V2. For V3 related documents, create request in V3. So that way they will be able to view the documents if V3 into V3 and V2 into V2.
This is not relating to the login or DSC, but it's relating to payment and downloading the challan.
Okay.
Sham Dakera has asked, in V2 receipt is usually not generated instantly after payment.
Right.
Apologies message pops up. One has to go to track payment status functionality. While doing so, the user gets logged out, and if tries to log in again, it is denied with a message that you are already logged in on another browser. This is happening for more than 2-3 years, and there is no resolution to it.
So let me help you understand the process in V2 payment, ma'am. So we receive bank reconciliation records from the payment gateways. So there are two gateways that we use in V2. And for every payment made, there's a reconciliation exercise. So first the bank confirms that the payment has been received, and then we reconcile the records with them. Typically what happens that during weekends, so if there is a Saturday or a holiday and the bank is not available, there will be records where the reconciliation will not be completed, and in that case the payment will not be successful. And if the payment is not successful, the challan will not be available. So when you go to track payment service or V2, you will see a message that please wait for 48 hours after the payment has been made.
Yes, right.
This is to address to the stakeholder that he has to wait. If the payment is not successful, the amount has been debited but is not successful, they have to wait for 48 hours so that the banks can reconcile their records with us and the payment is marked successful. That is why this error appears. So fortunately, we have been able to take care of this V3. Uh, Instead of only two payment gateways, we have multiple gateways available, and the payment status is updated. If not immediately, at least in 4 hours, it definitely gets updated successfully. So it's a quantum enhancement from V2 processors actually.
Thank you, sir. We have some certain suggestions from the members for improvement.
Sure, ma'am.
Strengthen server infrastructure and introduce autosave and resume functionality to avoid disruption. Ensure cross-browser compatibility and publish a browser usage guide for stakeholders.
Okay.
Enhance the DSC validation engine and provide clear troubleshooting prompts during authentication. Include detailed contextual error messages with guidance on corrective steps.
Mhm. I
Uh,
think on the contextual messages, we have done a lot of enhancements here. So earlier, many error messages were integrated into only one error, technical error occurred. Now it has completely been segregated, and the users get the actual error that where the validation fails while filing the forms, or while associating DSC, or while attempting to upgrade the profiles and all. So a lot of effort has been done in that direction, and we do not see technical error occur anymore. I mean, 1 in 100 typically. So that has reduced a lot. The other suggestions are, yes, they are in line with what modern technology is actually working in the direction. So if you can share all of that, we'll discuss with MCA, and the feasibility will be checked, and we will do that accordingly.
Thank you, sir. We end up with the question and answers here. We have some more questions separately with the ticket numbers that we will just mail it to you.
Okay,
So you can give your suggestions for the same.
sure,
Uh,
ma'am. Sure, we'll be happy
yeah.
to help.
Yeah, with this, I would like to thank Ms. Seema ji and Mr. Chandra ji for giving an insightful discussion and knowledge on the login and DSC registration with the MCA 21V3 version. I'm sure the glitches that are appearing right now will reduce with these suggestions, and it will be more user friendly in the coming days. Uh, Thank you, all the participants. We have got a huge participation here, and I hope you will be able to now do your filings and associate your DSCs and generate logins easily with this insightful knowledge from the LTI team. I would like to thank the chairperson and the vice chairperson of the team and the entire LTI team for this knowledgeful and insightful webinar conducted today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.